Sometimes the hardest part of any journey isn't the road we travel, but the doubts we carry along with us. Today we have a story to tell you, a story about two unlikely friends, an ant and an elephant, who set out on a journey that would teach them more than they ever expected about perseverance, effort, and success. But there's one important lesson at the heart of their journey. Do not look at results before success. Continue working. Let's begin. Meet Antara, a young and ambitious ant. Every day she worked tirelessly to gather food for her colony. Tiny in size, she often found herself looking at the larger creatures in the forest, wondering what it would be like to live without struggling so much. But Antara knew that success didn't come easily. Each task was an effort, each day a battle against gravity, size, and time. One day, while scurrying through the underbrush, Antara stumbled upon the grandest creature in the forest, the mighty elephant, Elias. Elias, despite his size, was wandering aimlessly, appearing to have little to do but walk around, slowly and lazily. Antara, curious, stopped to speak with him.
Why do you walk so slowly, Elias? Don't you have any work to do? You're so big. You could get things done easily, couldn't you?
Oh, Antara, you're always in a hurry. But I'm not like you. I don't rush for anything. I simply walk slowly, and everything comes to me in time.
One day, as they both sat by the river, Elias asked Antara a question that would change everything. He said, Antara,
How do you manage to do all this work, day after day? Elias asked Antara a question that would change everything. He said, Antara, I know you work hard every day, but do you ever stop and think about what your work is leading to? Do you ever look at the results of your efforts? I think you're too focused on the end result, Antara. Why not take a break from worrying about success and focus on enjoying the journey?
Honestly, Elias, no. I never really stop to think about the results. I just keep going because I believe that eventually everything will work out. But it's so hard, and sometimes I wonder if I'm making progress at all.
Elias thought about this for a moment, and then, in his slow and deliberate voice, he made a proposal.
I think you're too focused on the end result, Antara. Why not take a break from worrying about success and focus on enjoying the journey? Let's make a bet. I'll give you a challenge, and we'll see who reaches the top of the hill first.
How could she possibly win a race against the mighty Elias? But Elias smiled, his eyes twinkling with mischief.
It's not about the size of the creature, Antara. It's about persistence and not letting the result distract you. Are you willing to race me?
Of course. I'm ready. I will not stop until I reach the top.
The race began. Elias, with his massive legs, moved slowly, steadily, with no urgency. Antara, on the other hand, raced ahead, her tiny legs moving quickly as she darted over the ground. For the first few minutes, Antara had a clear lead. She didn't even glance back at Elias, her focus entirely on the path ahead. As Antara charged ahead, she became increasingly focused on her lead. I must stay ahead, she thought. I must win this race. The more she thought about winning, the faster she ran. But with each step, she began to grow tired. Her legs were small, and her energy was draining. She stumbled slightly but quickly regained her balance and continued. Elias, who had started slowly, now found himself far behind. But he didn't hurry. He didn't rush. His pace remained steady, one step after another. He wasn't focused on the result. He wasn't looking at where Antara was. He simply walked. As time passed, Antara grew more and more tired. She was sweating, her tiny body aching from the effort. With each step, the hill seemed to get taller and the finish line farther away. She looked back and saw Elias, still moving steadily, his calm and measured steps bringing him closer to her. Antara's heart raced as she realized she might not make it to the top in time. Despite her exhaustion, Antara pushed on.
He's catching up. I need to keep running faster, faster.
But as she looked up again, the summit seemed to taunt her. It was too far away. Her little legs could only take her so far, and she was beginning to doubt if she could finish the race. At that moment, something remarkable happened. Antara stopped, her tiny heart racing as she realized something. The race wasn't about reaching the top. It wasn't about the finish line. It was about the journey, the effort, the persistence. As Antara sat, catching her breath, she finally understood Elias's lesson. The race was never about who finished first, but who stayed focused, who kept going, despite the challenges, despite the setbacks. Elias wasn't rushing to win. He was simply living in the moment, enjoying the path he was on. And in that, he had already won. Antara stood up, took a deep breath, and continued her journey. This time, she didn't focus on the result. She didn't look at Elias or worry about who would reach the top first. She just moved forward, step by step. Antara stood up, took a deep breath, and continued her journey. This time, she didn't focus on the result. She didn't look at Elias or worry about who would reach the top first. She just moved forward, step by step. Remember, just like Antara and Elias, it's not about what happens when you reach the top. It's about the journey, the persistence, and the dedication that leads you there. Do not look at results before success. Continue working, one step at a time. Thank you for joining us on this inspiring journey with Antara and Elias. If you enjoyed this story, remember to like, subscribe, and share it with those who might need a reminder to keep going, no matter how difficult the path may seem.